With all these big time transfers coming in to fill major needs, where is the quarterback, though, Cody? That's what everyone's asking, right?
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. You can find me on Twitter at AllDayOState. We're available on every single podcasting platform as well as YouTube. So why don't we have a transfer quarterback? Well, because we've talked about a few that could make some sense, like Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, or a Brennan Armstrong from Virginia, or even to some degree a Devin Leary type from NC State. Well, I think the answer is simple, and it would be fun to just say, well, you're about to find out, but that's not enough fun. It's more fun to talk about why we think we should have enough faith in Garrett Rangel. And no, I'm not saying people didn't, right? I do think that the outcome for Garrett Rangel seems to be fairly positive, but there are quite a bit of concerns about going from Spencer Sanders to somebody like a Garrett Rangel without somebody with a lot of leadership capabilities and a lot of time under his belt to come in and kind of fill that teacher role, which is fine if you want to bring in a teacher role. But, interviews are fun because they give you a visual. It's not just about words, right? It's not always about just what's on paper. Sometimes you got to see, feel, and believe what the words are actually meaning. So, a picture says 1,000 words. You can mean mug the tar to somebody. It don't matter how nice you're talking to them. You don't. Right? Like you have to handle things a different way. And I, for one, am okay with it. Because Garrett Rangel is going to do just fine. Garrett Rangel seems to be the future. And I don't think, again, anybody's necessarily disagreeing with that per se. Although there are some people who want Zane Flores to start right away, which I get it, right? But like we've talked about before, the most popular guy on campus is always the backup quarterback. Always, always, always. Unless your starter is a certified dude, right? Everybody wants to back up. And for the first couple of years of Spencer's time, there was no difference there either. But, we haven't been clamoring clearly for a quarterback, even though Gundy himself is the one who said that a transfer quarterback could be beneficial. Apparently, that's also something he said to Zane Flores, is to be ready because, we're going to potentially most likely bring somebody in to help bridge the gap, which is a 100% understandable. I get it. But I don't think it's necessary. As I've said before, is it just Cody drinking a bunch of orange Kool-Aid? Oh, heck, I don't think so. Let's go to the players. So one of the COVID senior options to come back was Braden Cassidy, who's listed as Cowboy back, which is basically our tight end, fullback hybrid type of dude. And he's a converted defensive end who doesn't get a lot of throws his way, but clearly he loves the Cowboy way, loves what he's doing, loves the offense, loves the role he's playing because he decided to come back. Not only did he decide to come back for this COVID year, which I to be honest, I found kind of interesting, because I think Blaine Green is going to be that guy at that spot doing that job. He gives us the capability to open up the tight end position quite a bit. We went aggressively after some tight ends as well. Didn't always necessarily shake down the tree, but it did tell you, I think it's a good indication that we're aggressively pursuing that position for a reason. Blaine Green's going to have his year there to shine. Now you got Braden Cassidy wanting to come back. And then you got him talking about how massively intelligent Garrett Rangel is. And at no point in time did he ever or would even get close to insinuating bringing down Spencer Sanders. But he has had 4 years with Spencer Sanders, so he knows exactly how Spencer operates. And he's had 7 months with Garrett Rangel. And in 7 months' time, he's already put into this determination that his intelligence is something he's never really seen. Again, not a knock on Spencer. And Spencer's athleticism is off the charts. But that's something that Garrett Rangel is going to focus on in this offseason. Did he necessarily for this bowl game? Probably not, because he wanted to be ready to rock and roll. He wanted to be prepared. And just like what Braden Cassidy says, that he has a firm control of the offense. When they go tempo, right? When they go their very, very fast-paced Ferrari style of offense, where they're just waiting on the ref to set the ball so they can go immediately. Puts the defense on their heels. Obviously, when you're not allowed to rotate different guys in and out, takes you out some of the packaging or keeps you maybe in a package that you're in so the offense could take advantage. So the faster you go, the more plays you go, the more you put the defense on their heels. So if he already knows 50 to 70 of the turbo plays, that gives Garrett Rangel the ability in such a short amount of time to get the offense to continue to rock and roll. Dare I say, maybe even in tempo is a little bit more beneficial, similar to Spencer Sanders. Sometimes when you're athletic type of quarterback, it's better for you to just go instead of think. Well, Garrett Rangel seems to be somebody that can do a little bit of both, but more on the cerebral side of it. So why would these players, again, they wouldn't be coming back, would they, if they thought that we're going to be in a big old struggle bus of a situation next season? You just, again, sometimes, when you see the way these interviews happen and you see the inflections and everything, it does make a difference. It makes it feel more realistic based on what they're saying, right? There is a degree of separation, I guess you could say, between just saying and hearing. So it's always better to get the information as quickly as possible. And speaking of getting information as quickly as possible, today we have to let you know about LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. If you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available, this is why you need to check out LinkedIn Jobs. They help you find the right people for your team faster and for free. When you get on your ad, it'll light up in purple, the hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are, in fact, hiring as a company. They have simple tools like screening questions to make it easy for you to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize and you can do the interview for the hire you really, really need. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do, in fact, apply. So why are we just drinking the Garrett Rangel Kool-Aid? Well, again, the easy answer is we're going to find out because, we play Wisconsin. And it's pretty cool how there's some similarities. There is a commonality, right, with Oklahoma State and Wisconsin. We're both pretty big brands, not massive, but pretty big. We're both teams that are known for winning quite a bit of games, but not necessarily winning the big ones. I think, obviously, we do have a little bit more success overall over the last 10, 12 years, but I know it's really, 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 really close. And there's a lot going on in this game. Okay, so of course we don't have Spencer Sanders and they don't have Graham Mertz. But realistically speaking, I think you definitely are going to give us the edge. Well, primarily just because when you look at their quarterback situation, right, compared to our quarterback situation, yes, again, we're losing Spencer Sanders. I completely understand that. But at the same time that we're losing Spencer Sanders, we also got to take into consideration that both Garrett Rangel and Gunnar Gundy have had time this season to, get a little bit extra prep time in, to get a little bit more of, the situation squared away. Because no matter which way you slice it, no matter how you look at it, the situation is somewhat comparable. And when you take into consideration with the number of people they have leaving, and they have a few going to the NFL draft as well, right? But when you take into consideration what they have going, what we have going, it's pretty comparable. And they have a senior quarterback that I think should step in. Is it the same because he's only had 6 pass attempts this season as a Garrett Rangel? No, it's not. Which is why I think it's fair that we give the edge to a Garrett Rangel by a decent amount. No matter how talented, they've got a true freshman that they really like, and then they also have that senior Wolf that he's been there for a long time. He knows the offense, knows what to do. And guys, let's face it, they're very excited about this game. Because their players have even talked about that this is a new era. Luke Fickell's bringing a new era. It's a new time. It's a new day. So for a lot of the young guys, this is like an audition, right? This is a time for them to say, hey, coach, I know you got dudes coming. I know you got stuff planned. Don't forget about me. And none bigger than their quarterback situation. We know that the strength of their team is obviously going to be their running back. To sit here and say that they don't have an edge in some places, that's not fair. It's not even close. But to say that we don't have the ability to have far, far more faith in Garrett Rangel than they should in Wolf, right? Even though he's a senior. To me, it's not close. It's not close. We do have to shut down the running game. It is going to be a major, major factor because let's face it, we don't have Dominic Richardson at our disposal anymore. I don't really think that's that massive of an ordeal. Simply because and I've got some heat for this, but Dominic Richardson was not the best option. Dominic Richardson was not the best man for the job. If you look at this season, what is Ollie Gordon has 365 yards. Jaden Nixon has 365 yards. Ollie Gordon has like 338 yards. So you can't necessarily look at the numbers just off of that and say, okay, well, you feel like you've got a decent understanding of what's going on, but it's not. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. And if we can find a way to shut down Braylon Allen, their heralded running back, they have a couple running backs that are pretty good, but that dude is somebody that good and daggone well has NFL capabilities written all over him. So when you just look at the breakdown of the game, they have 17 transfers and 5 or 6 people going or that can't play in a few of the leagues. So, in the 20s range, which is pretty normal. We're in the 15 type of range, but I feel like all the way up and down, we have the edge. Garrett Rangel has the edge over Chase Wolf, and we're going to break all of the Wisconsin stuff down here in the next video as well. But I just wanted to talk primarily about quarterback. Is Braylon Allen going to be somebody that we have to watch? Yeah, but to say that Chase Wolf is somebody that can compete with Garrett Rangel, okay, that's fair. But to say that Chase Wolf has the ability to just straight up beat Garrett Rangel, I don't think so. And again, we go back to these interviews. Someone like JPR, John Paul Richardson. We could sit here and talk about how it's very rare that he was chosen to be a captain, which is extremely rare as a sophomore. We could talk about all of that. But to me, it's more important that in the interview, he does in fact talk about how Garrett Rangel is going to be fine. He throws a good ball. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't mind taking chances. He can operate the offense very, very effectively, very, very quickly. I'm sure Chase Wolf can do a good job. And I do know that Wisconsin's defense is it's an animal. I think that's also a little bit disingenuous if you look at just like Big Ten media hype, which is fair. It's their job. It's what they got to do. I get it. But this is a good opportunity for a statement for both teams on both sides of the aisle. Both teams have an argument here to use this as a launching pad. And if you look at some of the Luke Fickell interviews, they're taking this game very seriously because they need it. Again, it's an audition for their younger kids. For any O State fans that aren't just excited about the game, the matchup, us versus Wisconsin, two pretty big brands that are stuck in this perpetual purgatory of good, really good, but not great. I'm sure both fan bases are tired of the narrative. I'm sure both fan bases feel like they've got the ability and capability to be great, especially if you're Wisconsin right now. You got to be pretty happy because you got Luke Fickell as a Big 12 fan. Not very happy. That's another layer of why I would love to win this game halfway handily. Because I don't want Luke Fickell and his launching pad of his new bullcrap Big Ten job. I don't want that to be the name of the game here at all. Luke Fickell leaving Cincinnati, it's a business move. It's a business, Cody. I get it. I got it. It's good. But I hate it. I can't stand it. If Luke Fickell stays with Cincinnati rolls in the Big 12, instantaneous year in, year out contender. I wish Fickell would have watched them into the Big 12 for a couple of years. That would have been nice. It would have been good for the Big 12 marketing-wise as well. Let's not pretend otherwise. So this is a good opportunity, just like Notre Dame last year was a good opportunity for Oklahoma State University to get their brand out there against a big-time type of school. And the Big Ten eyes do respect Wisconsin, so the Big Ten eyes are going to be on this game. This is an opportunity for Oklahoma State University to show people that this was not a good season, and we are aware of that. This was a terrible disappointment of the season. But the people that pretend that the water, it started gushing out at the seams, it's ridiculous. Yes, we lose Spencer Sanders, but our Spencer Sanders replacement, Garrett Rangel, is better than your Chase Wolf. Yes, we essentially have to replace the running back, and you guys do not because you guys are set at that position. And Braylon Allen is somebody that we're going to have to contain. I don't necessarily see Chase Wolf having the capability to carve us up. So I feel like our defense is going to win that battle. They need to win that battle. They should win that battle. And to me, in this game, they will win that battle. So now you got to focus on stopping the run. And if you look at what teams did against us this season, there were times that we became so one-dimensional that people just gave up on trying to stop our run completely. So this is a team you would think is going to roll in with the same mentality. Make them run the ball. Okay, cool. Now the Big Ten country will get a nice dose of Jaden Nixon and Ollie Gordon and DeAndre Jackson. See, now I'm getting slightly fired up here, y'all. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So maybe, just real brief, I'll be able to bring it down, calm it down just a hair, because I do have to tell everybody out there about Bet Online. If you're trying to raise your money game, betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting news, stats, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to this college bowl season madness, all the way to basketball, all the way to the World Cup that was going on. We've got it all at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, got you covered there as well. We're the fastest, easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today or use your mobile device. BetOnline is where the game starts. Here on Locked On Oklahoma State, we're only trying to point you in the right direction. All right, Cody, so we had a chance to chill. But no, because we should still be fired up because this is going to be a fun game. This is going to be a good one. The brand on brand here is good for us. This is big for us, just like the Notre Dame game was big for us. Gave them the opportunity to do we have a logo 2 thing. The Big Ten will be watching this game. We need to show up and show out. I think Garrett Rangel do that. I think Jaden Nixon and Ollie Gordon and DeAndre Jackson show you why we're going to be fine. And then you factor in the fact that we're going to have Sean Tyler, so we're going to have 2 Lightnings, 2 Thunders, ready to rock and roll. And then you also you have a Zach Middleton that could factor into this thing as well as an additional potential type of Lightning option. We are loaded at the running back position. Dominic Richardson, I hope he does well. Right? I hope he does. I hope he does very well at Baylor, except for against Oklahoma State University. Good for him. It's a better blocking scheme for him, that's for sure. But I think we change a couple things. I think we start to see it against Wisconsin. This is a big bowl. Let's get pumped up for it. Let's get excited. Brand on brand. This is another we have a logo 2 opportunity. And then Jabbar Muhammad. That's it. Mason Cobb, Jabbar Muhammad, Spencer Sanders. Okay. Yeah. Dominic Richardson. Okay. Got that covered. We're going to go way more in depth. I just wanted to talk about why the quarterback thing is going to be fine. And we're about to see why. The locker room is very happy with Garrett Rangel. It's why Braden Cassidy, not only chose Oklahoma State over Wisconsin, right? He was almost going to go play defensive end at Wisconsin. Glad he didn't. Glad he stuck around. Not only did he choose Oklahoma State over Wisconsin, he also chose us again, and he's coming back again for a 5th year because of he loves the school, loves the university, and Garrett Rangel. If we're aggressively going after tight ends, and we know Blaine Green's going to be a guy, and now we got Braden Cassidy wanting to come back because he can see Garrett Rangel's probably going to be a guy. Now we just got to see it as a fan base. Okay, cool. I think this is a good opportunity. If we can use our running game effectively against their stout line, now this is where the game wins and loses. Yes, I do think that our quarterback replacement is better than Wolf. Yes, I think our running back replacement is more than fine, and we'll finally maybe get to see that, the running game that we hope to see. Wide receiver, we're good there. Jabbar Muhammad, just mentioned him. Well, guys, we got to remember, at this time last season, this was his really first time to get a lot of starting film out there to really give us a good look of what he was going to be. And what did he do? He dominated the bowl game, and he had a very good junior season. Why he transferred to flipping fracking Washington, don't know. That one was kind of wild for me, but nonetheless, this is now Cam Smith's time. Cam Smith has played more than Jabbar Muhammad did at this point in time last season. So we already know that Cam Smith has some abilities. Well, now we're about to see him on full display. So just like we last year got to see what Jabbar Muhammad and Corey Black had, Corey Black, it needs some work. He knows he does, but he's gonna be all right. Jabbar Muhammad proved to be one of the dudes. So this is Cam Smith's time to just step up and take that same kind of role. We're deep. We're fairly deep. We've been blessed with talent, recently. So we didn't see all the depth. As we've already talked about, guys, the depth, this is where the depth has to show up. Wisconsin has lost more guys to the portal, injuries, and draft than we have. They just have. Right? And the starters we've lost, we feel pretty confident about replacements. I mean, the biggest question is going to be maybe obviously Mason Cobb. Who's going to replace him? Well, reports out of practice have been very, very high on Lamont Bishop. We know we've been high on Nicholas Martin all year. Donovan Stevens is somebody who's got to linger in the background but hasn't got a lot of PT. We've been talking about Lyric Rawls for a minute. We need to get him on the show because his name came out again. He's going to be a good one. We knew he was going to be a good one. We talked about it before this season started. And I wondered why we weren't never seeing him. And his injury was bigger than anybody ever thought. So we missed the whole season. He's somebody else that you'll get to see this bowl game. And you'll get to say, hey, okay, got it. I understand completely why Cody and well, I'm sure there was other people high, but I was super high on Trey Rucker. And now we get to see it. And now we get to see Cam Smith take over for where Jabbar Muhammad was at this point last year. We get to see a little bit more growth out of Corey Black. We get to see if Lamont Bishop gets his decides he's going to take an extra year. Because if you look at red zone packages, Lyric Rawls and Lamont Bishop score very, very high in all red zone categories. They're phenomenal. So the question was always, well, he doesn't have the lateral side-to-side quickness that Mason Cobb has. Okay. Let's see if he can make up for it in other ways. So he's going to be on full display. Xavier Benson, there were times this season when he did jog on plays, right? He trailed plays without giving maximum effort. On film, no big deal. It is what it is. He seems very bought in. So he's very motivated on being an Oklahoma State Cowboy right now. So maybe he can kind of take that next step instead of just following in the shadows, I guess you could say, of what Mason Cobb was doing to some degree. Now he can step forth and say, I've been this good this whole time. I'm going to go 190 miles an hour and show you why I'm the guy next to Mason Cobb. And then again, as it always circles back to Garrett Rangel. We're going to be fine. Again, are there some transfer quarterbacks out there that make sense, that can help? Absolutely. But it doesn't appear there's a panic for one. So maybe we should not be as panicked, because I think inside the locker room, jury's out on Garrett Rangel. And inside the locker room, jury seems to like what they see out of Garrett Rangel. I know I've been high on him. People have accused me multiple times now of being just too drunk on the orange Kool-Aid over Garrett Rangel and Gunnar Gundy. But this is a good opportunity to see what the fuss isn't about, because you're not hearing a bunch of fuss about transfer quarterback, other than from the fans, of course, right? We, to some degree, are clamoring, but there's a portion of us that are hardcore believing in what we're about to see out of Garrett Rangel. So this should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. I'm actually very, 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 very excited. I don't think I've ever been more excited about a 7-win bowl season. Again, there's a difference between the last game of the season and the first game springboard of the following season. There's a big difference. And I think that this springboard thing, first game of next season, it's very realistic if we do it right, if we play our cards right. And we should. I know they're like a 3.5, 4-point favorite. Wisconsin is great. Gundy's covered 5 out of his last 6 bowl games. Yeah. So whether you win or lose, if you want to bet the spread, Gundy typically is going to give you a dub here. But I do think that we have more returning. We have far less worries. We're not dealing with coaching changes and all that fun jazz. I understand that they're playing hard, the swan song for their seniors and all the coaches on the staff. And I know they're trying out for their next position at the University of Wisconsin or elsewhere. So they're going to come out swinging. But I think this is a good answer opportunity. So the next video, we're going to break down Wisconsin, other than just their quarterback and running back situation compared to ours as well. But again, this was an emphasis on you're not seeing a big scramble for transfer QB. And maybe we're about to find out why. So let's just be patient. Let's see what it brings us. Could we still need a transfer afterwards? Maybe, but maybe not. And guys, I can't apologize for doing the show how I feel's the right way. And having somebody else on that I think can help take over the legacy media bull honky, it does nothing but help. Helps the channel, helps the university, it helps everybody, because you want accurate information being spread around about Oklahoma State. Even if it's from OU dudes, you don't want all of these mouth-breathing buffoons on the radio today that continue to talk bad about Oklahoma State without knowing anything really what they're really saying. You'd rather have guys that know what they're talking about. So I apologize for wanting to take over, but this is an area that we should take over the media area. And if I have people on the show that can help do that, it's beneficial. I don't hide from anyone. I ain't shying away from no one. I'll say anything. I'll bring on anybody and ask anything. But I'm also not going to tear down somebody that can help get the right information out. Even if it's zero information, I'd rather people not talk about Oklahoma State so we can do that than have people talk a bunch of crap that's not true about Oklahoma State and it get out all over the place. We're here to take over. We're here to give better coverage than the crap that you hear. I don't want OU stations to have OU or OSU knowledge and OSU fans feed into it, trying to shut that down. So that's the objective here, guys. I love it. And as always, I love you all. God bless. Go Pokes. We'll do this again real soon, and we'll break down Wisconsin. Yeah. Until then, thank you for making Locked On Oklahoma State your daily stop for all of your Oklahoma State coverage. Until the next one, I will see y'all later.